I always knew the time would come where I'd have to make this video. So let me apologize in advance to WWE because I'm now going to completely dismantle your independent contractor clause in the contract. Look, WWE, I don't want any smoke with you. I don't want any problems. But I promised on my channel I would try to be objective. And just with everything going on, I have to cover this. I really do. Look, I'd be more than happy to help you guys rewrite this. I'd be happy to rewrite it for you. But I have to go through it as it is. So I just want to say that beforehand. Please don't be mad. How WWE's independent contractor excuse could backfire big time. Here's the thing. For decades, WWE has called wrestlers independent contractors in order to avoid paying employee benefits, taxes, health coverage. But here's the ironic thing. That same label could be the reason that their non-compete clauses aren't even enforceable. So let's break this down. And I'll tell you how this could backfire legally and badly. WWE's entire system rests upon a contradiction. They call wrestlers independent contractors, but they treat them like employees when it comes to control and restrictions. And this matters because under contract law, the right to enforce a non-compete comes from employment law, not independent contractor relationships. So this seems like common sense to me. Like, if you're truly independent, the company shouldn't be able to control where, when, or for whom you work after you leave, right? Because what an independent contractor really means is an independent contractor controls how and when they perform services. They bear their own business risks, but they can work for multiple clients. And they're not bound by loyalty or exclusivity unless they're paid for it. So if WWE truly believes talent are independent, they can't restrict your outside work. They can't impose a year-long non-compete or stop you from earning an income elsewhere. This defeats the whole point of being independent. I mean, it's in the name, but all right, here we are. But WWE's own contract contradicts itself. So pulling from my 2017 WWE contract, it literally says, and I quote, "Talent represents and warrants that his relationship to WWE shall be that of an independent contractor and not an employee for any purpose whatsoever." Then, in the same contract, it says, "WWE can't approve or reject your performances, dictate your creative and travel schedule, terminate you for any reason whatsoever, and block you from working for anyone else for a year." Now, that's not independence. I mean, clearly that's control. And in the eyes of the law, control equals employment, okay? So now, why this could backfire in court? If someone like Andrade ever challenged this in court, WWE would have a real problem because you can't enforce an employment style restriction on someone you claim isn't an employee. Employees can have non-competes if they're compensated. Independent contractors are supposed to be free to. So that contradiction alone could make the clause void as against public policy. Now, there's something else. So here's where it gets worse for WWE. If they exercise this much control, then wrestlers weren't truly independent. They were misclassified employees. Now that means WWE could owe back taxes, benefits, workers' comp, and unemployment coverage. So either the non-compete is invalid because we're independent contractors, or WWE's been misclassifying the entire roster. Either way, it's a lose-lose. Okay, and now this is the knockout punch. So the Federal Trade Commission's 2024 rule banning non-competes doesn't just cover employees, it also covers independent contractors. So even if WWE argues they're not employees, the FTC says it doesn't matter. Non-competes for independent contractors are unfair methods of competition. So, I mean, basically that's checkmate. Also, there's more that most people don't know. So even if a wrestler wanted to challenge WWE's contract, they can't just go to court. Why, you ask? Because buried deep in every WWE contract is a binding arbitration clause. And it basically says that any dispute, claim, or controversy has to be settled privately in Stamford, Connecticut, through arbitration, not in open court. So this means there's no jury, no public trial, and no class actions. The arbitrator's decision is final and confidential. So if a wrestler ever challenged their non-compete or contractor status, it would happen behind closed. But this in and of itself is another contradiction. Think about it. WWE calls wrestlers independent contractors, but forces them into arbitration like employees. Independent contractors normally have the right to choose how and where to resolve disputes, but WWE removes that choice entirely in the contract. So that's another layer of control, and another reason the independent contractor label just doesn't hold up. This is kind of a legal catch-22. WWE really boxed themselves in here. So if wrestlers are truly independent, then the company has no legal right to control them with a non-compete or to force them into arbitration. But if WWE exercises that level of control, then wrestlers are really employees, and WWE could owe years of back pay and benefits. So either way, it backfires. WWE just can't have it both ways. You can't call wrestlers independent to save money, then treat them like employees when it's convenient. I mean, it's not independence, that's clearly control. And in contract law, control is the key test for an employer. All right, I'm David Otunga, the only Harvard-educated lawyer in the history of WWE and professional wrestling. So I hope you guys like this breakdown. Let me know what you want me to cover next. Thank you.